Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today by supporting the Going In Raw Patreon. You can enjoy access to the live taping of the show, exclusive merchandise, and patron-only episodes, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description.
This is Charlotte, and you're watching Going In Raw. That sounds terrible.
What's up? This is the most must-see WWE superstar of all time and his lovely, gorgeous wife,
Marie.
and you are going in SmackDown Live. Who needs Raw?
What's up? It's your girl, Sasha Banks, the legit boss, and you are watching Going In Raw.
Oh, baby, I like it Raw. Oh, baby, I like it Raw. And you are tuned in to Going In Raw right now. How you doing?
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Stephen Larson, and also available wherever fine podcasts are available, including iTunes and not Spotify. We're on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/Stephen Larson. We need to find somebody who knows what they're doing on Spotify. We need to put a call out for Spotify. We're going to get a lot of people now. Oh, you guys really need it.
I know.
I know how to use Spotify. I have Spotify. No, we're good. We're good. We don't need that.
We'll get it on there someday.
One day we'll figure it out.
One day we'll learn how to use Spotify.
That's right. We also got T-shirts. Not this one. This is a Patreon T-shirt for $50 or more.
I forgot what T-shirt I was wearing for a moment there.
Patreon. That's not one of ours.
No.
Patreon.com/Stephen Larson, where you guys can contribute to the show. We've been able to build the show and get equipment and make the show better for you guys.
Yeah.
And in return, you get certain rewards if you're on the Patreon. So, like,
Correct.
for example, $5 a month. What do they get, Larson? $5 a month.
You get to watch the stream.
Every single week, we do a live stream when we recap Raw, and then we interact with you guys. And then, so you get that. What's going on?
We have a package here. And
We
I was
do,
making
yeah.
sure the address wasn't on screen.
Oh, good point. Okay.
It's not. We're fine.
We're going to open a package later for our Newsplex set because we need stuff for that.
Yeah.
'Cause right now it's looking pretty shabby. Every week we're going to
Yes.
add to it until it's just a mess, just like this one. And,
Yeah.
And we've also got a pro wrestling tee shop where you can get T-shirts of us.
Yeah.
ProWrestlingTees.com/Going In Raw. So that's all good stuff.
So you ready to talk about the United Kingdom tournament?
Man, all weekend people have been asking on the Twitter, Stephen Larson, you guys gonna do a UK tournament video? You guys gonna do a video? Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah,
We're doing
here's
it
your
right
answer,
now.
yes.
Yeah. Now, as you know, I'm a big mark for all things UK.
You are?
I love England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, and Northern Ireland. Even though I've never actually been to Ireland, never been there. When I was a kid, I lived in England. So I'm intimately familiar with England.
You forgot a match.
Did I?
Yeah.
What a bummer. Oh, yeah, that's right. So anyways, we're going to run down the tournament. And, we're not going to go, we'll go match by match. But mainly just to sort of point out, there's a lot of interesting characters. There's lots of really cool stuff here. Did you, just generally speaking, I really enjoyed the tournament.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
And I think it gave several wrestlers an opportunity to become stars on a global scale.
Yes.
And and then WWE gave them and also the company itself an opportunity to make stars on a global scale. And 3 in particular that we'll talk about throughout the show.
Nice. And we're not really going to get too much into, there's a lot of news out there about the contracts that these guys signed, what it means for the indie wrestling scene in England. Is this the WWE encroaching on the British, the UK territory?
Yeah.
Because a lot of that still has to shake out.
Yes.
We got to see how that's all going to shake out. If they're going to start doing a weekly show, if they're going to be preventing wrestlers from being with certain promotions, like we heard with WCPW.
Yeah, I will say that throughout the show, mostly the first night, I believe, a lot of the promoters in the UK were seated in the audience.
Right.
And WWE essentially gave them shout-outs.
Yeah. I wonder. I have zero idea. I do not know at all. It would be interesting to know. Because I know WCPW is sort of new on the scene, and we have an affinity for those guys because we got to meet them at SummerSlam, and we talked with them a little bit, and it was fun to see the guys behind the guys, or what they're like, when they're on the camera, and it's virtually the same. Like they're really, really good guys, and I really enjoy their product.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about the scene to understand how they're perceived within the greater context So I don't know if this is Brian Zane, our buddy. He put out a tweet out there. It said something like something I'm paraphrasing, something like. I'm not surprised the WWE didn't give a shout out to WCPW because when you spend so much time ripping their product, they're probably not going to do that. And I don't know if that's a deal or if if WWE was giving shout outs to people that they're literally in business with.
Could be.
In some sort of developmental capacity. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But it'll be interesting to see. So I don't know. The bottom line is we don't really know if like the WWE is like this big bad wolf and encroaching on the UK territory or if this is good for the UK territory.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
I have no idea
So we're
either.
not really going to get into that. We're going to get into what we saw in the tournament, what we liked.
Yes.
And then we'll go from there.
Yes.
Round 1.
First match.
Yeah, Trent Seven versus H.C. Dyer.
We both had the same thought during this match.
Yeah.
Which is?
Go ahead.
No, you say it.
Trent. Well, I had one main thought when I saw Trent Seven.
Yeah.
Two things. Number one, if wrestling was strictly done by body type, I could be Trent Seven.
And that was the thought, yeah.
He is literally built. If you guys want to know what I look like in my chonies, look at Trent Seven. But from the head up, he's got like about 1 million more charisma points than I do because this is all charisma up here.
Yeah.
And he is, just a look on his face, and I'm like, this guy's fucking cool.
Well, you notice on beginning of night 2, the announcers were talking about how not only did Trent Seven just want to be a wrestler, he would be the first wrestler to win an Oscar.
Oh, I can see that.
He wanted to be a huge Hollywood star while also being a professional wrestler.
You know who I got him down as? I have him down as, what's his name? Okay, so to me, he's equal parts on his face. Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I had that thought as well.
Hold on a second. Jonathan Rhys Meyers.
Yeah.
Dead on those two guys combined, but with like a really cool beard and like a really cool haircut.
I know.
That's who he is to me. Just loaded up with charisma. But it was just cool to see. Like, I've seen WCPW. I just simply don't remember him being as Haas-ish as he kind of is.
Yeah.
Because I've got kind of a Haas body, and I swear to God, dude, I looked at him. I was like, that's literally my body because he doesn't have a lot of muscle or anything. Mm-hmm. He's got kind of a big belly. Like, it's not an overwhelming big belly, but it's like he's got kind of a tub. And it's not like he's got real pecs.
But he's still fairly athletic.
Oh, he can move way better than I can.
He's doing suicide dives through the ropes.
I joke when I say, oh, I can do this too. No, he is fantastic.
Yeah.
And it just goes to show that I'm hoping this is indicative of the WWE understanding that you can have all, and it does seem like they're doing this.
You can have all body types.
You can have all body types.
Yeah.
But he is just loaded to the brim with charisma. This dude, I want to see so much more of him. And it's funny because like I said, I've seen my fair share of WCPW, but a lot of the times I don't really pay attention. To be honest with you, a lot of the times I just love Adam Pacity's, evil GM characters. He's fucking hilarious. So I've seen a little bit of a Mustache Mountain.
Yeah.
But not enough to really I knew we were doing a video on this, so I was really paying attention.
Yeah.
Anyways, so he first took on H.C. Dyer. I didn't really get much of a read on him. I kind of knew that he was going to lose.
Yeah, apparently he's pretty new to wrestling.
Okay,
he's young.
All right.
He's young.
All right, yeah.
I think they said he was 24.
Okay, all right, cool.
Whereas it seems like Trent Seven has a wealth of experience.
He's
35.
Yeah, he's 35.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. He was born in 81. That's right. Yeah. Man, yeah, he's old. I love that.
I know.
And I kind of it's what's funny is that Tyler Bate had to kind of grow on me throughout the tournament.
Oh yeah?
A little bit by the final, which was amazing.
Yeah.
He had really grown on me. But when he came out initially, I was like, I just sort of relate to the older guys, Yeah. I've said that before. I relate to the older guys.
Well, I know Tyler Bate is young, but he looks with the mustache, it makes him look older.
Yeah.
And the way he carries himself,
Yeah.
he carries himself like he has a wealth of experience.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So
then next up we had Saxon Huxley versus Sam Gradwell.
the crowd instantly loved Saxon Huxley, started chanting Jesus.
Why wouldn't you like the Muscle Cat Jesus? Which I have no idea what those 3 words in one phrase means. Muscle Cat.
Well, you're
Jesus?
taking his nickname that he calls himself, Muscle Cat, and then the crowd started chanting Jesus
because he had the appearance of Jesus. Okay, all right. I thought I was like, wait, did I miss out on his nickname being Muscle Cat? Okay, so he's just Muscle Cat. Okay.
Yeah, he's the Muscle Cat.
Right on. I did like that. Like he had the cheetah print, sort of just directing towards his crotch. That was great.
And Sam Gradwell, local from Blackpool, picked up the win.
Yeah. Again, like
It was an okay match.
a lot of matches. I'm not going to run down every single move. Like I liked, there were no matches that I was like, oh, this is crap.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're all good. From what I understand, I think it was All Pro Wrestling News or allwrestlingnews.com. I forget which one. Had a thing today or yesterday that said that the talent backstage were told to sort of tone it down a little bit. And there's conflicting reports as to why
For
exactly.
the whole duration of the tournament?
For
you
the
mean?
tournament, yeah. Which is interesting to me because I didn't see, I mean, I'm not familiar with a lot of these guys, with most of these guys, to be honest with you, but I don't know. I thought the matches were pretty solid. I mean, I'll put it this way. Perhaps if they didn't want to push Saxon Huxley because Sam Gradwell went over, but Saxon Huxley had some like really, really amazing shit. I can see them saying, hey, don't do your really, really cool shit because then you're going to get over and people are going to be bummed out that he lost.
That's interesting.
So I can kind of see, it makes me wonder if that was the same thing with the Cruiserweight Classic. Like if there are certain guys, it's like, hey, look, we know we want to go in this direction. And I honestly don't know how I feel about that because it's like on one hand, they should be giving us the best product.
I know, and they should be given, regardless if which competitor is going over in the match, they should at least give everybody an opportunity to show their best.
Yeah, I know. I think in the end, you want to give the best, you want to give.
I mean, if they went to the whole locker room and said, hey, tone it down a bit, that's strange. I mean, if they went to particular people and said, okay, we need you to play the heel in this, this match. Yeah. So, tailor your moveset towards that character.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You kind of noticed that later on in the tournament when, in the semifinals, when it was Tyler Bate versus Wolfgang. I'm jumping ahead here. Because for the whole first half of the tournament, Wolfgang was a face.
Yeah.
But in that match, he healed it up a bit because Tyler Bate was so over.
Yeah. Next up, we had Danny Burch versus Jordan Devlin. I love this. It was great. Danny Burch, number one, looks like he's 60 years old. He looks like the oldest guy by far in the tournament.
I know. He was in NXT for a couple of years, they were saying.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
That's great. Man, yeah, because he looks old. Jordan Devlin, massive head.
If Trent Seven if you resemble Trent Seven, I feel like I resemble Jordan Devlin.
I could see that. Jordan Devlin, and this kind of goes for you too, but especially Jordan, he looks like a Game of Thrones character. He looks like an asshole Game of Thrones character, and it's great. So lots of charisma in that giant head of his. Let's see here. And then there was that controversial finish where evidently somebody shot Danny Burch in the back of the head.
I know.
Because, man, that kick, Devlin gave that kick to the back of his head.
And then,
and he was ripped open.
Yeah, just blood
there
everywhere.
Was a massive, and then they did there was some miscommunication evidently because the ref counted, it seemed like the ref counted 3 to get the match over with.
Yeah.
But it looked like he communicated that was going to happen. But Burch still kicked out.
Yeah.
And so the crowd started booing, but Danilo, the ref, said, no, this is
match
done.
over.
You have a massive head wound in the back of your head.
I know.
This is done. So I'm glad that he stuck to his guns.
Yeah.
Then we had Pete Dunne versus Roy Johnson.
Pete Dunne, the first of 3 competitors that are stars now because of this tournament.
Do you
worldwide stars? I'd seen Pete Dunne wrestle in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla.
Yeah.
Against Mark Andrews, another guy who had a star-making turn in this tournament.
Yeah.
And that was a really good match. But to see him, Mark Andrews, and I guess I'll say now Tyler Bate.
Yeah.
All really take a hold of this opportunity and make the best of it.
Yeah.
It's really impressive.
Interesting that because I knew that you were going to point out Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Interesting that you didn't point out who my third guy was. We'll get to him in a second.
Oh, okay.
Pete Dunne.
Was it Wolfgang?
Yes. It was,
okay.
Yeah, it was Wolfgang.
Okay.
Pete Dunne. Have you ever seen an Alan Clark movie?
Yeah.
Made in Britain.
Oh, yeah.
Pete Dunne is a walking Alan Clark movie.
I
And I don't know if any of our British friendos out there are going to understand the reference because he was active on he didn't even do cinematic movies. He made TV movies that were just amazing. It was all like British working class stuff, and it gave Tim Roth his massive break because he played this like really, really villainous skinhead guy in Made in Britain, and Pete Dunne comes off as that type of villainous character. I'm not making a skinhead reference here, but he comes off as just villainous. Like, man, that face, just has so much character to it.
Yep.
He is fantastic. When he and then to top it off, when he got on the mic and when he demonstrated his mic skills, he sounded like a bit like Terrence Stamp to me.
Oh, yeah.
At his best.
Yeah.
Triple H said it best.
Triple H.
I'm sorry. Yeah, of course. Triple H said it best or something like that. Oh my God, I was in love.
Yeah.
I mean, everything from his singlet, everything about him tells his story. You don't need to know anything about him to understand who this guy is as soon as he shows up. It's amazing.
He walks out with his mouthpiece and snarls.
And snarls and does this.
Yeah.
What is this? This just means he's going to fuck you up. That's what it means.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it was great.
He's great.
I loved every second of watching him, man. I don't even remember Roy Johnson, I'll be honest
He
with
was
you.
good.
Was he? Okay.
They said he'd only been wrestling for 2 years.
Okay, well, good for him. He got a good spotlight here.
Yeah.
If I saw him, there was a lot of guys with long hair and beards. I don't know if Roy Johnson was one of them.
No.
Roy Johnson, wrestler. See, I knew this was going to happen last night. I was like, oh man, I'm still going to forget these people. Because when you're in there with that's a honky tonk man right there. Anyways, is that him?
I think so, yeah.
No, I don't remember him at all. Anyway, moving on. Let's see. We had Tyson T-Bone versus Wolfgang. Tyson T-Bone. He might be my going in raw wrestler of the tournament, though.
I just thought of this. He reminded me of an NPC from GTA 5, but from
Okay.
Blaine County.
Okay, no. This is exactly who Tyson T-Bone was.
Okay.
He was Brad Pitt from Snatch. When he talked, all I can say is this. When he talked, he reminded me of Brad Pitt from Snatch. Hey, dogs. Yeah, I got dogs. Yeah, and then when he shows up in a gray tank top
I know.
and brown pants,
I know.
I was just, and a gold chain.
I know.
And he wrestled in that. I love Tyson T-Bone. He is my new favorite. He is my going in raw wrestler. He's my Steve W wrestler.
There you go.
From the tournament, because I thought I was like, you know what? I know Wolfgang, because Wolfgang I thought was my third big guy. He was great to me.
Yeah.
Everything was great to me, great about him to me. And I knew that Wolfgang was going to win because I'd actually heard about him. But Tyson T-Bone, it literally looks like the circus pulled into town and they got this guy. And I loved it. I loved it so much. It was great. Anyways, Wolfgang went over.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt from Snatch.
Yeah, Wolfgang moved pretty well for a guy his size. He's doing moonsaults and swanton bombs.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, no.
It's pretty impressive.
No, Wolfgang was rad. I freaking loved him. And he just looks like, Wolfgang is the kind of, like, how do I put this? Guys like Tyler Bate, who are small, like his size small.
Yeah.
Small.
Yeah. They bill him as at 175.
Yeah.
That's pretty small.
Probably 155. Guys that small, how tall do they bill him as?
I don't remember if they said.
Okay.
So they billed Wolfgang at 255, I think.
And how tall do you know?
They didn't on their tail of the
say,
tape
okay.
graphics. They didn't have height.
Okay. Guys like that have to, and this is their job because they're small. Guys like that have to convince me, the viewer, that they can legitimately beat a guy like, I mean, we had this conversation ages ago about Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, a guy like that, a rotund guy like that, has to convince me, the viewer, that he can take on a guy like Brock Lesnar, and I can believe it. A guy like Tyler Bate had to prove to me, and he did. He was successful.
Tyler Bate is billed at 5'7".
Okay.
172. This is according to Pro Wrestling Wiki.
Okay, that's not surprising to me because he's small. Guys like that, they have to, because look, if I'm going to watch two guys get into a fight and there's no weight classes, I know there's a cruiserweight class, but you know this is different. That there's no classes in this one.
Yeah.
There's no divisions there. I have to be convinced.
Oh, yeah.
And my only problem, I'm not. We'll get to it when we get to that match, but Tyler, he had to kind of convince, and the guys like Wolfgang, who are big, beefy guys, they're believable to me.
Yeah.
They're automatically, they get a pass in believability. And so I thought just off the bat, his look, his charisma, his moveset, I want to see this guy now. I want to see Wolfgang now. Like that name, Wolfgang, I want to see him now.
Yeah.
And so that was my big third guy. I like Mark Andrews, but I was a bigger mark for Wolfgang.
Yeah.
Next up, we had Joseph Connors versus James Drake.
They're really pushing the fact that Joseph Connors is missing a piece of his ear.
Yes. Yeah.
Like that was a recent thing. I don't know if it is.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
James Drake. Oh, okay. Here, that's awesome. You just filled in that missing piece of the puzzle. Then.
Oh, why James Drake kept working the left ear?
Talking about the ear.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, James Drake's really going after that ear." I'm like, "Did you watch Fight Club? That one scene?
Oh, I know.
My ear.
I know that really hurts to punch someone in the ear.
I mean, it does.
Yeah.
It's like if you're gonna make that your story of how you're gonna beat a guy, it's kind of an oddball, but because like you don't need your ear to stand. It's just an annoyance, and it might be so much of an annoyance that you're gonna get counted. You're gonna get 3 counts.
How about this? Pressure to the ears.
Yeah, there you go.
That messes with your equilibrium.
Your equilibrium discombobulates you.
Yes.
Yeah, it could be. Anyways, Joseph Connors, I had seen him, WCPW.
Yes.
He was their champ for a bit.
Yeah.
So good for him. He moved on. James Drake didn't really stand out too much to me. I kind of remember him a little bit.
Yeah.
Then we had Mark Andrews versus Dan Maloney.
Like I said before, I've seen Mark Andrews match in PWG against Pete Dunne. He was a competitor that each match got better and showed more.
No, I did notice that too. Yeah, I like that.
And he had a good promo too.
He had an airplane on his pants too.
Yeah, he had
I
that
like
in PWG.
He flies.
Time to Fly.
Yeah, Time to Fly. I did like the one thing I did notice about Dan Maloney because I noticed in his sit down whenever something stood out to me in their sit downs, I would pay attention.
Yeah.
He basically in his interview says, "Yeah, I've seen some shit."
And he was a young guy.
Yeah, he's a young dude,
19.
but he looked already traumatized from wherever he was from. And it was like, "What kind of things have you seen?" Better I not say. I'm like, "Oh, I want to see this guy some more." If for no other reason to get him out of whatever living situation he's in. Anyways, too bad Dan Maloney. He lost Mark Andrews. Let's see here. Then we had Tyler Bate versus Tucker.
I kind of wish I'd seen more Tyler Bates work before this tournament.
Yeah.
Because then I might have, like I was texting you while I was watching the first round. And I was like, oh, they're really pushing Pete Dunne and Trent Seven as the 2 finalists.
Right.
But then after seeing this match, which, went on last the first night, I was like, oh, he's a young guy, tons of charisma.
Yeah.
He's a contender. And no one talked about him. Like Michael Cole was saying Joseph Connors was his guy.
Oh, yeah. He
the
was
whole
really
time.
pushing, yeah.
And then Nigel McGuinness, I don't think ever made a pick. And
I don't think
Nigel McGuinness was great.
Oh,
on
he was
commentary.
fantastic. Yeah, he was fantastic. Yeah, I know. And dude, can we just say this real quick? Michael Cole was great.
Yeah, he was good.
He was
really
good. He was geeked out over everything. He wasn't overbearing. He wasn't trying to be cute or clever.
No, he wasn't stumbling over anything. He was on point.
He was paying so much respect to everybody. He was educated.
Yeah.
I really liked this Michael Cole. Him and Nigel McGuinness made a really, really good pair.
Yeah.
I really, really liked him.
They were calling the match rather than trying to entertain.
Yeah, exactly.
And
they do that more often.
I know, helping to tell the story of the match through their commentary.
Speaking of stories, Tucker was born 8 days premature. They made mention of that.
And that he blew out his knee recently, too.
Yeah, I was like, oh, preemie baby.
I know.
Anyways, Tyler Bate went over. Didn't matter.
Yeah.
Didn't matter, Tucker. Your sob story doesn't matter to me.
Oof.
Not to Tyler Bate, anyways. Day two.
Day two. Second, third, final round.
We had Pete Dunne versus Sam Gradwell.
This was a very physical match.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
We didn't mention at the conclusion of day one, they had the remaining competitors line up on stage.
Yeah.
Next to the belt, and Pete Dunne took it upon himself to attack his opponent for the second round. That person being Sam Gradwell.
That's right. Yeah.
And beat the hell out of him.
Yeah. Regal not happy about that.
And there was all this talk in between the 2 days whether Pete Dunne was going to face some discipline for his attack.
Yeah.
And that's what when you refer to Triple H, that Triple H said something like, "Oh, he's just making a name for himself."
Yeah. And it was, like I said, great promo.
Yeah.
Like Triple H said, making a name for myself.
Well, that spot where Pete Dunne had Sam Gradwell sitting on top of the ropes and just pushed him.
I know.
Sam Gradwell got his knees twisted up under him. And that happened. I was kind of worried about him there.
Let's see here. Pete Dunne moved on.
Yeah.
Cut that great promo. Joseph Connors versus Mark Andrews.
Really good match.
Yeah, really, really good match. Really into this one. Mark Andrews, lots of flippy dippy stuff. It was cool. Then we had Wolfgang versus Trent Seven.
Another good match.
Another really good match. Wolfgang, it was a great image after he won. He's just blood coming out of his nose.
Well, he kicked out of this Trent Seven's 7-star lariat.
I know. It was good stuff.
Which they were making a point in the first round about how devastating that move was.
Yeah.
So they were setting up that story.
Yeah.
They did the same thing with Pete Dunne's finisher throughout the tournament. Like, no one's kicking out of that. Nigel McGuinness kept saying.
Yeah.
Ended up not being exactly true.
Good storytelling.
Yep.
Yeah, Wolfgang. I really love both these guys. Like Trent Seven. I really want to see more of that guy.
Yeah.
Then we had Jordan Devlin versus Tyler Bate. I don't really have a lot of notes like the rest of these. We're just sort of going through who.
Well, there was a spot where Jordan Devlin kicked Tyler Bate in the back of the head.
Yeah.
And the ref was like, okay, hold on. And Tyler Bate was holding his head
That was
like
good.
this.
That was really good, yeah.
And then brought his hands forward, expecting blood to be there, and there wasn't.
And there's none, yeah.
Tyler Bate has a ton of charisma.
He
a
does.
ton.
And he's only 19.
I know.
That's insane. That's really crazy.
And one thing I'll say about Tyler Bate, with each match, they kind of revealed more not only about his character, but his moveset, too.
Yeah.
And it was masterfully done.
Like, it was great. I don't know if it was the first match or the second match that he was in. I think it was the first one, round one, when he came out. And because a couple people sort of looked at the title, but he came out, and he was also, because he's got that great Tom Jones type music that he comes out to. And he looked at the title, he goes, like that. It's kind of cartoonish. It's like, okay.
But then juxtapose that with the conclusion of his match with Wolfgang.
Well, even when he came out, when he came out to face Pete Dunne, like he didn't look at anything except for Pete Dunne. He was looking at that, and he was all red because from earlier.
Yeah.
And then the conclusion when he ended up going over Wolfgang, which happened
later on.
It was just the range of emotions that Tyler Bate at 19 is able to display.
I know. We can talk about that. I guess we are talking about the Wolfgang Bate match. You were talking about legitimacy earlier in terms of Tyler Bate because he's so small. When he managed to deliver his finisher on Wolfgang, all right, legit.
I'll be honest with you. That was the one problem I had with it.
Really?
I felt that match needed at least another 2 or 3 minutes to build to that.
Oh, I agree with that. Because
the fact that he was able to get him up and execute the move, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But
it did come out of nowhere.
It kind of came out of nowhere, and that's a move when you're that small, when you're giving up that much size to your opponent. You know, your opponent has to help you out a lot with that move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not lifting dead weight. And so the fact that he was able to get him there, because I know that they did at least one false finish, or a reversal rather, where he tried to do it and he got flipped or he got reversed. And so he was able to hit that. I just feel like there should have been a sequence of moves before that, like at almost a fever pace, to then warrant getting that big dude up there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my only critique of the match. That was my only criticism of the match, was I felt like he hit that finisher and it wasn't out of nowhere. It was, okay, let's go ahead and do this, as opposed to, I need to beat the crap out of this big, massive dude as much as I can, and then in one last desperate attempt, go ahead and hit that finish.
Yeah, I understand that.
It's a small quibble.
No, I understand
thought
that.
it could have made the drama.
No, I remember watching it and thinking that Tyler Bate kind of won out of nowhere.
Yeah. But he went over, and his reaction at the end was amazing.
Yeah, like he surprised himself.
Everything else was great.
Yeah.
Then we had Neville debuting his new theme music.
No, it's the same one they've been using for a while.
That's the same one?
I think so.
Okay, all right.
Because it starts out with the guitar stuff, and then it segues into kind of like a remix version of his old one.
Okay, all right. He came out. Great promo. When this guy,
Fantastic.
if they do push him back to the main roster, I don't know if that's going to be a thing.
Yeah.
He can do so much damage there.
I know.
With those promo skills.
I know.
They've been sitting on those promo skills.
I know.
For this long.
I know.
Oh, man, it was great. And then the debuting on WWE TV, Tommy End.
Yeah.
Using the name Tommy End.
Which I speculate was because that was obviously the name he used. They were mentioning that how he wrestled quite a bit in Progress in ICW.
Well, I think they're going to make a big deal out of his name change. He
too.
tweeted out some poem about the end, and I think there was some reference to blackness in there, which is going to be his new name, Aleister Black. And if they do that, I'll totally be. I'll be that's totally cool. Like, it's not going to be the name Tommy End.
Same thing with Damo though. Like, they were referring to him as Damo for a couple weeks, and then, like, maybe when he joined Sanity, they'll give him a new name or something like that.
It's
if they make a deal about it, then it's fine.
I hope that's the way they approach it. If they're going to change somebody's name, is make it storyline motivated almost. And I'm not sure how they'll do it with Tommy End. Maybe he will consider his transition to NXT like a true life transition, and so it warrants a name change. But I mean, I was fine with the way they did it before when Asuka would change, like they'd put it up on the thing and they would.
Or with Hideo Itami too.
Or Finn Balor. They would tell people this is the inspiration behind the name. Even Curtis Axel. When he got this is the inspiration behind the name.
When Heyman came out and talked about it.
Yeah.
It made total sense.
It made total sense, but now I think since we're sort of past that time when it's like, okay, we're going to change. make it storyline motivated. Like you said with Damo, that makes total sense.
Yeah.
To have it sanity motivated because of sanity, and they're almost like a cult.
Yeah.
With Tommy End, hopefully it'll be like maybe a personal journey of his or some crap. Regardless, I am all in on Tommy End, man. I have never seen one of his matches.
Oh, yeah?
I just saw his look. I just saw what he looked like. I am all in on this dude. He's going to be one of those guys. You're not going to be able to bury Tommy End because of his sheer force of charisma. Like, look at that dude. Look at his freaking tattoos. He looks like he's walked the earth, and he's got that great face, and he's got that intensity just inherent in his face.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to dismiss this guy at all. You know, he can eat losses and he'll always be fine.
Yeah.
Hopefully he doesn't eat losses.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? But I could see him going for that NXT title very, very soon.
Yeah. That main event scene in NXT is going to get really congested really quick.
What kind of program are we going to expect with Tommy End and Bobby Roode? That's going to be weird. Like, talk about a contrasting in personalities there.
What about Tommy End and Ty Dillinger?
Just a bizarre. That's never going to. They're going to be two huge faces.
You think they're going to push Tommy End as a face?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's traditionally been. I don't know. I'm sure you guys are going to let us know in the comments.
Yes.
That's great. But I do want to seek out more of his work because, it's good stuff. I think I saw like one of his matches against, I want to say Chris Hero before.
Well, I saw a match where he tagged with Chris Hero.
Okay.
In PWG against, I think it was Pentagon Jr. in Phoenix.
Okay.
Last Battle of Los Angeles.
Then we had our finals.
Yes. Oh, we didn't mention at the end of the Wolfgang Tyler Bate match, Pete Dunne came out and attacked Tyler Bate.
Oh, Neville went over, by the way. Oh,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
After Tyler Bate won.
Yeah.
Injuring Tyler Bate's shoulder.
Yeah. The final was great.
Yes.
Really, really good match. Best match of the tournament. And I love the beginning when they were doing, everybody was in the ring hovering, milling about, and they had the title in there. And Regal was just shooting laser beams at Pete Dunne.
Yep.
Like he was just scowling at him, doing the Regal thing. It was great.
Yeah.
Man, it was just a celebration. It was really great. But yeah, fantastic match. Just Pete Dunne able to hit his finisher, and Bate kicked out of it.
Yeah.
And Dunne was just completely beside himself.
And Tyler Bate did a magnificent job of selling that shoulder injury for the most part of the entire match and after the match.
Yeah, yeah. And I thought the finish had the drama in this one that I thought the Wolfgang
maybe that's why they didn't do it in the Wolfgang match.
That could be.
They didn't want to spoil the drama for the semifinal match.
Yeah.
They want to save it for the final.
Yeah, that could.
They really did a pretty good job of booking each match to build on the previous one.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So each match, like I said, with Tyler Bate's character, it continually built instead of giving you everything you need to know about Tyler Bate right out the gate.
Now let me ask you this: if they do end up, I have no idea how this is performing. If it's going to warrant a weekly show, if they decide to go with a weekly show, what do you think they could learn from the crew from 205 Live? What direction do you think they should go with this? Because this is, I to be honest, me personally, I would rather see this as a weekly show than 205 Live.
Yeah.
And it's largely because I really just love, maybe it's my UK fetish, I don't know, but I love these types. These are all just smash mouth guys.
Well, they did a really good job of, in the span of 4 hours, developing unique characters.
Which they kind of did in the Cruiserweight Classic as well.
Yeah,
you know.
And I think that has to be the focus.
I think you're not going to see shit like, oh, it's my girlfriend, I want your girlfriend.
I know.
You know, that's kind of,
like already, you have the relationship that they mentioned between Trent Seven and Tyler Bate. They're tag team partners in progress, I think. Even just this main event, you can build off that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's some other stories in here, too. I don't remember offhand. But there's other
Bring
stories.
Tyson T-Bone back and push him to the moon. I don't know.
There's plenty. It seemed like they were setting up stories moving forward already.
Yeah.
So, that I think if they focus on that.
I don't want to see, and I don't know how ICW does it. I really do want to check some of that stuff out.
Yeah.
But I don't want to see your standard. We're backstage segments.
I know.
And contrived storylines.
I know.
It should be every week. They should all gather in a pub and then drink a little bit too much and
have a disagreement and fight to settle.
And then by the end of the match, they forget what they were fighting about.
I know.
And that should be every single story.
That'd be good.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Weren't they saying that Wolfgang was worked at a pub?
Imagine
I think
if
that's what
these
they were
guys
saying.
did. That's fantastic. That's great.
So yeah, Tyler Bate.
It could be Wolfgang's pub.
Yeah, Tyler Bate is your first
Yeah, Tyler Bate went over.
your
It's your-
United Kingdom champion.
That's right. I love it. I think it's great. Like you said, he did a great job convincing me that he's legit.
Even after the match, he was selling his shoulder
Yeah.
injury. He wouldn't let anybody touch that arm.
Now,
Great touch.
who out of these guys, in my opinion, the highest ceiling here is for Pete Dunne. I mean, as much as I like, and I know Tyler Bate's 19 years old, he's literally gonna be fighting for another 20 years. But I
Do you think his stature or lack thereof will hold him back?
honestly, yes.
Yeah, I worry about that too.
I'll be completely honest with you because he is so small. And I think it's funny because I think that he's. I don't even want to see him in the cruiserweight division because I think he's better than that. I mean, that's the sad thing about the cruiserweight division. It just feels like a lesser division, whereas the UK like territory just seems like a really cool thing.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, that's just from my point of view. But I don't know. I think so. I mean, that's why I say Pete Dunne because I look at Pete Dunne and it's like I have no idea how tall he is or how much he weighs.
I think they were saying he was 5'10" or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds about
could be
right. That sounds
wrong.
he's a couple inches taller than Tyler Bate at least, but he doesn't seem like he's as tall as 6 feet. But regardless of that, just his sheer force of villainy.
Yeah, 5'10".
His just his villainy
I know.
in that face. Like he looks like he can really scare some people. So yeah, I don't know. Pete Dunne, like he might have lost like the final here, but that dude is ready for prime time like yesterday. I really think that.
I had a thought the other day that maybe the winner of this tournament would enter into the Royal Rumble. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'll be as much as I love Tyler Bate, I probably if I was doing this whole thing, which I'm not, I would have booked the Trent Seven Pete Dunne final. Like, who did we think? We thought that's what we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if this was a contractual thing. If they didn't get
that could be.
If they didn't get Trent Seven to sign on,
I thought that too.
full time, and they were able to get Tyler Bate, although they're a tag team. Interesting that would be the case.
Yeah.
But who knows?
But also, I mean, I'm sure they just saw the star potential in Tyler Bate because you see him work, it's obvious.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, he's small.
That could be.
But still.
And everybody was saying it was going to be Dunne 7. Everybody was saying it was going to be that. I mean, people who had no idea what they're talking about, me and you.
Well, like I said,
we're calling that too.
I picked that for two reasons. One, I'd seen Pete Dunne's work before and knew he was pretty good. And two, when they had the press conference, those were the two guys sitting next to Triple H.
Exactly. And that was the lone reason I chose him. So yeah, interesting.
So the predictions, I won because you didn't pick Tyler Bate getting out of the first round.
Really?
Yeah, you picked Tucker.
Okay. Well, there you
So
go.
do you have to put that on?
No, this wasn't a pay-per-view. Are you kidding me?
It was a network special.
Do I just have to do it for the... You're insane. That was never said. Do you want me to put that on like just for the rest of this video? How about our product today?
Okay.
I'll do it for our product today. What do we got today?
We have Newsplex.
We got a
Still
Newsplex.
to shoot, and we have a bunch of fun W. Steve W. to do.
All right. Well, I'll wear that. I'll wear that
Okay.
for those.
Okay.
What the heck? That was never said.
Hey, it's a predictions. It's predictions.
If it was predictions, if it was like if I knew Slapnuts T-shirt was on the line,
You
I would have
done
done
some
some research.
Okay.
Can't be
Well,
throwing that out of the blue.
I assume every.
You literally You literally saw what I was choosing and then decided to choose different from that. You didn't do any research. You're insane.
It wasn't strictly just doing the opposite of what you did.
I kind of feel like it was. I remember
No.
recording that video and you were just like, what are you choosing? Okay, I'll choose this guy instead.
Like I said, it wasn't strictly that. I'm not saying it didn't play a part somewhat, but it wasn't strictly
You're
that.
getting 1, 2. Well, shit, if we do all of our video game stuff today, we're going to do all of it or just
We can try.
We can try. That's a lot of videos when I have
No,
that
I
on,
know.
so you should be appreciative that
No,
I'm
that's
even
fine.
willing to do that. All right. Anyways, let's open up this really quick.
Yes.
So we've got our Newsplex set over there, and now we're opening up stuff. We have a lot. I did not
ton of
go to
stuff.
the PO box for like
That
2
is
weeks.
a ton of stuff.
We got a lot of stuff. This is sent to us. Oh, from Alex Cartwright.
Alex C.
Oh, that's Alex C.
I'm guessing.
Alex C. Well, it's Alex C. Let's see what Alex C sent us.
Looks like a poster or posters.
You were correct. It does, in fact, look like a posters. Oh, man.
Let's see it.
The ultimate for the Newsplex set.
Oh, that's cool.
That is really cool, man. Are there frames that we can get
I'm sure.
that aren't reflective? Because otherwise you're going to have a lot of light just coming back at you.
We can just take the glass out.
Oh, yeah, we could try that. Because that looks like $1 million.
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
awesome. Thank you
I
very
wanted
much.
a Newsplex set not to be just a cluster. I wanted it to be like nice.
Classy.
Like, classy, framed
Because
artwork.
it's a real wrestling journalism show.
That was really nice of you, Alex.
Yes, thank you very much.
Vader freaking that's a good looking Vader poster.
Yeah, it is.
Man, I'm feeling overwhelmed right now. Anyways, that's it for our UK predictions and going in Raw. And be sure to tune in tomorrow, I guess, for our regular episodes.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Or is this going to go up Tuesday morning or is it going to go Monday night?
To be decided.
To be decided. Tune in. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.